The sky is falling. The sky is falling. We've all heard the children's tale. Though the kids weren't saying it, the sane adults were. Massive pieces of the sky were descending, crushing buildings, cars, everything. The only explanation we were given was that the scientists had opened a dimensional rift, and now that dimension was forcing its way into ours. It seemed like a madman's explanation, but we all felt a little mad at the moment. Only a few hours later, and we sent the first drones up there to see what it looked like. They lost communications and fell out of the sky before they could get close enough. I can tell you what it looked like. Black, no stars, no sun, nothing. Utter darkness. 2 days later, smaller pieces were falling. They dissipated before they made contact with the ground. The day before that, we lost satellite communications. The dimensional rift was creating a block between us and them. We have no idea what happened to the crew in the International Space Station. If they haven't lost power like we did, they have no way of getting down here without their shuttle losing control and burning up. Nearly a week after this is when we knew there was nothing we could do. The sky was set ablaze, as if hell itself was in our atmosphere. I didn't know that statement was literal. The crazies on the street corner were no longer insane for thinking the end is nigh. Now they just seemed regular. I guess it takes the end of the world for paranormal people to seem normal. I'm glad I quit my work the day the sky fell. I didn't want to be in the middle of work when it all went to shit, and it did quickly. I was sitting in front of my window that looks out to the street, and further off the city was visible. Even though the sky was blazing, it was almost calming. We hadn't seen the sun in almost half a month. Any form of light was fine. Jesus, I wished it stayed that way. I could see them from here. Hellish beasts rain from the sky, burning everything in their way. I could hear the screaming from my house. Men, women, even children, all being tortured and brutally slaughtered with no remorse. It was hard to tell the burning city from the sky at this point. I knew these monsters would eventually make their way to the neighborhoods. I gathered all my supplies and locked myself in the basement. At least a day passed before I started hearing my neighbors being pulled out of their houses, screaming and crying before the most gut-wrenching sounds of flesh and organs could be heard being ripped apart. But the most disturbing thing was the cries of the children screaming for their moms and dads. I was almost happy to hear them go quiet. At least this way, they wouldn't be tortured. They went door to door, killing everyone. I think the only reason they skipped my house was because of the crucifix on the front and back doors. Both me and my wife were religious, her more than me. Now that I look at it, I'm glad the cancer took her instead of these things. I was floating in space. No screams, no hellish landscape, just the sun, the moon, and an empty spot where the earth should be. I was at peace. But it was ripped away from me by a sound I thought would be the last thing I would ever hear. I heard what sounded like trumpets, and it was loud enough that I thought they were down here with me. I went up to open the basement door. When I looked at the curtains to my window, it looked like the sun was shining bright against them. Was it all over? When I pulled away the curtains, I was nearly blinded by the light. I had to look out my back door. The sky was still blazing, but it was less bright now. I went to look out the front door. I looked up and I saw it. A pale horse with 1,000 trumpets behind it.